Hi everyone, my name is Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today we are going to make a 9-layer card. I know, you heard that right, 9 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to do this. You'll see that we're using some fun new product from our Occasions catalog, and we're using a stamp set that's actually a second release celebration stamp set called Eclectic Expressions. I'm in love with the happy birthday sentiment, and I love these poofs of color. And so let's go ahead and get started. I probably should show you this wonderful designer series paper. This is the Myths and Magic Specialty Designer Series paper, and every single sheet of paper in this pack has kind of a sparkly gloss added to something on each page. And so as I go through here, you'll probably notice that it is sparkling and glossy and shiny, and I just love it. Lots of pretty magical papers in this paper pack. And what's nice about the card that I'm showing you today is even though I'm going to create this very much like this card, you could easily change up the shape. So some of these mermaids might actually be more conducive to cutting out with a circle, and you could just as easily create a circle mermaid instead of this oval mermaid. So you just have to kind of experiment and branch out a little bit on your own as you're creating this card. But I will give you the measurements for everything that I did to create this card. So let's go ahead and set this aside for a minute. We've got some stamping to do, and we're going to start with our card base. This is Dapper Denim. It's one of the in colors that could be retiring this year. I say could be because I'm almost wondering if there isn't going to be a color refresh. We don't know, so we don't know for sure what will come and what will go, but I love this color, so if you love it too, I would highly recommend that you get it before it's gone. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold along this score line, give it a little press with our bone folder, and then we're going to stamp our inside panel. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's Whisper White. And I'm just going to bring in a little mat here. Well, actually not a mat, but a little piece of scrap paper, because we are going to have to stamp off here in the corners. So I'm going to ink this up with Soft Sky, and I've just put those 2 puffs of color. They look sort of like little clouds. I just put them on the same block D, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to just add 1 blotch of color up there at the top, and then another blotch down here at the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and we'll add that happy birthday sentiment. So I'm going to do that with our Melon Mambo ink, and so I'm just going to ink that up, and we'll set that just like this. Perfect. And that's all the stamping we need to do on the inside. So now we can go ahead and we'll just take our snail, add a little strip along the top, and then we can set this right here into our card. So we'll just center that in so all 4 borders are nice and even. And then let's go ahead and work on some of the other things that we need to do here. Let me bring the card back into the picture here for a moment, and we're going to do some more stamping. So let me show you the next part that we're going to stamp. And that is this white panel that goes right here. And you'll notice there's some little bumps on that panel, and that's our scattered sequins dynamic embossing folder. But you will need to stamp before you run it through the Big Shot with that particular folder. So let me grab that panel. It's going to be 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And again, we're going to be stamping with those little poofs of color using Soft Sky ink. So again, let me get my scratch paper here, and we are just going to ink this up. Now you don't need to really stamp through the center because that won't be actually noticeable. So the way we're going to do it is we're just going to stamp here all along the outside, because that is what people are going to see. And so we'll just go all along. Until we have all of our edges with different pieces of color. Now, I did go ahead and do this in advance because I wanted to have it run through the Big Shot machine. So let me show you what that setup looks like. So the way I set that up is I started with my Big Shot platform and I removed the thin die adapter because you don't need it when you're running through embossing folders. Then I have the Scattered Sequins Dynamic Textured Embossing Folder, and because it's one of those super thick folders from Stampin' Up, I do not need a second plate. So I just put that straight onto my Big Shot platform. Then I add my cut plate over the top and ran it through the Big Shot machine. And then what you'll get is you'll get a panel that looks like this with all of these great little sequins on it. And so that's going to be the base for our card. And let me go ahead and show you how we're going to layer this all up. So the next layer that we're actually putting this onto is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's in Melon Mambo. So we can just go ahead and get this all out of the way. So I'm putting Snail all the way around this Whisper White panel, and we're just going to center this in on this Melon Mambo panel. So that's going to be a very skinny border all the way around, but that's okay. We like that look. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and put this right here on the front panel of our card base. So to do that, I'm just going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue, and we'll just run a line all the way around, and then we can flip this over and center it in so all 4 borders are nice and even. And that is ready to go. And now let's go ahead and work on this center panel that's going to go on our card with the Little Mermaid. So let me show you how I did all of those cutouts. This is the Big Shot layers that I used. I have my magnetic platform down here. Then I have my cut plate. And then I have all of these various layers. And let me show you the different dimensions that I used. First, I just free cut one of the cute Little Mermaids, and I put her onto a scallop, and I used the 4th largest scallop oval. And then we have this pink panel, which is Melon Mambo, and then we have a Dapper Denim panel. So let me show you the sizes for those. The Melon Mambo panel is 2 by 7/8 by 4 1/8. And then what I did is I went ahead and I cut out an oval using the 5th largest straight edge oval. And this is just a way to be economical with your paper, because this is a layer on the card and you won't actually see that because that's going to be under here. And I did the same thing with this Dapper Denim panel. The Dapper Denim panel is 3 by 4 1/4. And again, I just cut out with the straight edged oval, the 6th largest straight edge oval. And so let me go ahead and we'll get this all out of the way, and then we can start layering this up. So even though this card is going to be 9 layers, it's actually pretty quick to do. So let me move these out of the way. And actually we're using these, so I need to take those out too. The only thing we need to throw away is this tiny little scrap. Let's talk about the washi tape. So we are going to use a panel of Whisper White. This is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And I did go ahead and do this bottom portion here because I wanted to show you, because you're going to do the washi tape exactly the same whether it's the top or the bottom. So let me go ahead and show you how I layered this. I took the little star washi tape, and by the way, the name of this washi tape is our Myths and Magic washi tape, and all of this is found in our Occasions 2018 catalog. Then we're going to take this little kind of a Dazzling Diamonds washi tape. It's nice and narrow. We're going to set that right next to that silver washi tape, and again just trim that. And then here is the little striped washi tape, and we'll just put that right up next to the Dazzling Diamonds washi tape. So then once it's all cut off, you can flip it over and trim it so that it is even with the edges. So it works really slick. And just like that, our panel is ready. Except we need to do a little stamping on this panel. So let me go ahead and grab these little poofs of color again. I think I forgot to mention that I thought we were done with stamping, but now I realize we actually aren't. So we're just going to add some poofs of color through the center, and you can just keep flipping them just like this. And that looks pretty good. And you don't have to worry too much because mostly the oval's going to cover that up. You just want a little bit of the color through the center. And that to me looks good. So now let's go ahead and put all these layers together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to layer this washi taped panel onto this Melon Mambo panel. So I'm just going to flip it over. You don't want to get it right through the center because that's where our oval cutout is, and then it would stick to your mat or maybe stick to another part of the card that you don't want it stuck to. So we'll just get this in here, press it down, and now we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to put this panel over the top of our Dapper Denim panel. And then we're just going to set this right here on top of our Dapper Denim panel. And that looks good. Now let's go ahead and put this right here onto our card. So we're going to do that with some dimensionals. And as you can see, I used 5 dimensionals. I've already taken the peelies off, so we can just center this right here onto our card, making sure that all of those borders are nice and even. And that looks good. Now we just need to add our little mermaid. So the first thing we're going to do is glue the little mermaid onto this Melon Mambo panel. So I'm going to put a little glue down on the Melon Mambo panel, set our little mermaid on top of it, and just wiggle it into place until all of those edges are nice and even. Then we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this. And as you can see, I added 4 dimensionals. So once again, we're just going to set this in so that all of the edges are nice and even. There we go. We have our 9 layers. So we've got the 3 layers here, the 3 layers there, and then all of the layers here. So now we can go ahead and we're just going to glue this down so that she is sort of sitting right there. So I'm just going to take some multi-purpose liquid glue to the back of that, and we're just going to set this in just like that. So cute. Now we're going to add a little touch of sparkle up here. I mean, there's already sparkle, but we're going to make it even more shiny and sparkly. So I took some silver 1/8 inch ribbon, and I'm going to put a glue dot onto this. And then I'm going to set this onto a little piece of silver trim that looks like this. So I'll just set that glue dot right there. And now we have some cute little sparkly trim coming off of our silver ribbon. So then I'll add one more glue dot to this whole little ensemble here. And we're going to put this right here onto our card. And there it is. Isn't it adorable? So here is the card I've just completed. And here is the card I had done in advance. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate that you're a part of my Stamping to Share community. If you'd like to place a product order, I would certainly appreciate it. You can find me at my blog, which is www.stampingtoshare.com. Have a great day. Bye-bye.